Let's start with that big breaking news that's captured the world's attention. An Africa Airways Airbus with 111 passengers, that is 82 men, 28 women and an infant, as well as 7 crew members on board, has been hijacked. The plane was on an internal flight from Sabha in the south to the Libyan capital Tripoli before communications were lost. The plane reportedly tried to land in Tripoli, but the hijackers refused and diverted the plane to the Mediterranean island of Malta. Reports say there is one hijacker on board and that he had told the crew that he has a grenade. The hijacker reportedly said he will release passengers so long as his as yet unspecified demands were accepted. Several emergency measures have been taken at Malta International Airport as a result. Special counter-terrorism units have been deployed at the airport, and the plane has been surrounded by the military vehicles and soldiers. All flights from Malta have been cancelled as a result. Remember, Libya has been in a state of chaos since 2011 when Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown, leaving warring militias to battle it out for control of different parts of the country. In fact, forces loyal to a fledgling national unity government recently took control of the coastal city of Sirte, which had been a bastion for the Islamic State group since June 2015. Western powers have pinned their hopes of containing jihadism in the energy-rich northern African state on the government, but it has failed to establish its authority over all of the country so far. In fact, a rival authority rules the country's far east, backed by the forces under military strongman Marshal Khalifa Haftar, who have been battling jihadists in the second city of Benghazi. The Prime Minister of Malta, Joseph Muscat, has tweeted, quote, "Informed of potential hijack situation of a Libya internal flight diverted to Malta, security and emergency operations standing by," unquote. Mr. Muscat has also said, quote, "The Africa flight from Sabha to Tripoli has been diverted and has landed in Malta, security services coordinating operations," unquote. For those of you just joining us here on WION, here's a bit of breaking news that we're tracking that's coming out of Malta. An internal flight in Libya carrying 118 people, including 111 passengers and 7 crew members, has been diverted to Malta. The Africa Airways Airbus with 111 passengers, like I was pointing out, including 82 men, 28 women and an infant, has been hijacked. The latest news that we're getting from the site right now is that some passengers have been seen leaving that plane. Reports are saying that women and a child may have exited that plane, which was on an internal flight from Sabha in the south to the Libyan capital Tripoli before communications were lost with the plane. Now, as per reports, initial attempts were made to land the plane in Tripoli, which is the capital of Libya. However, the hijackers refused and it was eventually diverted to the island in the Mediterranean of Malta. That is where the plane is right now. In fact, you can see those visuals that are coming out of Malta right now. That plane parked there on a runway at the Malta International Airport. Military vehicles and counter-terrorism units have been deployed to deal with this hostage situation in that Africa Airways Airbus. Unfortunately, the demands are yet unknown as far as those hijackers go. That is causing a delay in perhaps the rescue operations and negotiation processes to try and release the passengers safely. What we're hearing right now in latest updates coming out of Malta is that there are reports that some people have been seen exiting the plane. This includes some women and some children as well. We are reiterating here on WION that these are initial reports, still unsubstantiated. We're trying to get you as clear a picture of that situation as possible. Reports are conflicting in terms of the number of hijackers as well. Some are saying 1, others are saying 2. So it could be either or. There could be more hijackers on board. We're not certain right now. Libya's internal situation, of course, is another point of concern here. There is a rumor that's floating on social media also that the hijackers could possibly be pro-Gaddafi loyalists who have gone ahead and taken out or carried out, pardon me, that action of hijacking that internal flight. Right, here are some more latest visuals we're getting for you live right now. That is the flight that is parked on a runway at the Malta International Airport. You can see a staircase has been attached to the foredoor of the plane. If I'm not mistaken, there is an individual standing there who's gone back into the plane right now. There are some military vehicles also approaching, or is that a bus perhaps that's approaching the aeroplane? Obviously, this is an extremely sensitive situation. We're not certain of the nationalities of the passengers on board, but there is the fact that Malta is extremely close to Libya raises questions of whether there might be Maltese citizens on board that plane as well. We will get you updates on the nationalities as and when those come in, but right now these are the images that are coming to you live from the Maltese International Airport, where an internal flight in Libya has been diverted and parked on a runway after a hostage and hijacking situation was reported. You can see some personnel there moving around below the plane. They are approaching the plane. We're not certain of who these people are, but there you go, clearer visual there of the plane. A staircase has been attached. There's an individual standing there on right outside the plane, and we can see a couple of other people moving out of the plane. This is heartening news for everyone who is watching and concerned about the safety of the people on board. 2 people can be seen exiting the plane. The situation has been developing over the past couple of hours. We've been keeping track of the on-ground situation as best as we can here for you on WION. What we can confirm to you is that 118 people are on board that flight. There are reports now that some passengers have been allowed to leave the plane. We're not certain of the exact number, but reports are suggesting that there are women and children who have been allowed to exit the plane. Not all women and not all children, mind you, just a few that have been allowed to leave that plane in Malta. Maltese Prime Minister Joseph Muscat has also tweeted with regards to the situation and has assured that all possible security services have been deployed to deal with the situation. We are also uncertain right now of exactly what the demands are of the hijackers. In fact, the number of hijackers is also yet to be confirmed. Mr. Muscat's tweets there were up on the screen. Okay, let's go back to the Malta International Airport once again, getting you shots right from there. As you can see, that individual back there on the landing of the staircase attached to the front door of the plane. There are more people that can be seen getting out of the plane, walking down the stairs. This is a sensitive situation. All right, Rachel Attard, the news editor of the Malta Independent, joins us on the phone line right now. Rachel, thanks so much for speaking with us on WION. We'd be grateful if you could give us more inputs on the current situation as it stands at the Malta airport.
Yeah, at the moment, it is confirmed that 25 women and children have been released, and more passengers, as we speak, are coming out of the plane. What we can say for now is that more coaches are coming next to the plane to get passengers on board, off the plane, and we have no idea yet what the hijackers want. We know that there are 2 there, and negotiations are still taking place.
All right, Rachel, do we have any indication of the nationalities of those people on board?
We don't know the exact nationalities. What we know is that they are pro-Gaddafi supporters. Right. So one would assume that they are Libyans, but we don't know yet.
All right, and also if you could tell us, does the fact that Malta is so close to Libya cause a certain amount of spillover so far as the civil unrest and the situation in Libya goes?
Well, the situation in Libya, everyone knows what it is, and we are practically neighbors of Libya. So far, we haven't had much trouble from Libya, but we are always, the country is always ready for any eventuality. That's what we can say at the moment.
All right, Rachel, you said that it is confirmed that there are 2 hijackers on board and that 25 passengers have been released and more are coming out. Are we certain of what exactly the demands of those hijackers are? There were initial reports that there was uncertainty regarding that as the situation stood a few minutes ago.
What we can say, we don't know exactly what they are demanding. Some people are even saying that some of sources are saying that they might be holding a hand grenade, but that is not confirmed yet.
Okay, Rachel, do we know who is carrying out those negotiations with the hijackers?
Yes, our Armed Forces of Malta Brigadier Jeffrey Kurmi is leading the negotiations with the hijackers.
Okay,
and earlier in the day, the Prime Minister was leading the National Security Committee from Castile, from his office.
Right, Rachel, also, since you are with us, we'd like to ask you as many questions as possible at this point. How many security personnel has Malta deployed to deal with that situation?
Well, I can't give you a round figure because we don't know, but what I can tell you is that the majority of the police, the armed forces, the security are there on the spot, and in fact the area of the airport is all closed up even for the public and the traffic.
So the reports that some flights have resumed are incorrect.
Can you repeat that, please, again?
Some reports are saying that a few flights have resumed at the Malta International Airport. Can you confirm or deny that?
Yes, we have reported that basically there was an announcement on the airport that all people, all flights are basically on track, and because the reason is very simple, the airplane did not land in the airport itself, but in the old airport, and that was done for security purposes.
All right. So we can confirm then to our viewers, thanks to Rachel Attard, who's on the phone line with us, that 25 passengers have been released from that hijacked plane. There are 2 hijackers on board, and there are unconfirmed reports of a hand grenade as well. Rachel, do we have any sort of indication of how long this process might take? I'm sure it's a heartening sign to see that at least 25 passengers have been released.
Yes, it's a good question. This is a very delicate situation because even though we're seeing at the moment women and children coming out from the plane, you can have a situation where the hijackers would keep the man on board for a very long time. So it can take for just a couple of minutes and it will be all over. The nightmare will be over, but it could be that also they will continue to keep them for a number of hours. What we can also confirm is that on board there is a Libyan MP, a member of parliament, a Libyan member of parliament.
All right, breaking news there for our viewers who are joining. Rachel Attard joins us on the phone line and has confirmed that there is a Libyan member of parliament who is also on board that hijacked flight which has landed at the Malta International Airport. Negotiations are currently on to try and bring about the release of those passengers. 25 have been allowed to depart from the plane. The number might have increased since our conversation with Rachel began, but we are going to wait to be able to confirm that information. Rachel, any other inputs that you can provide us? You're our only voice coming out of the country right now, and we'd love to give our viewers as clear a picture as possible. All right, we seem to have lost our connection with Rachel Attard. She joined us on the phone line shortly before, given us some very, very fruitful information on what exactly is the ongoing situation so far as that plane goes. She has confirmed that 25 passengers out of 111 on board that hijacked flight have been allowed to leave the plane. These are, mind you, women and children. The men still remain, as do other women and children who are on board that flight. Rachel also pointed out for us that there is a confirmed report that there is a Libyan member of parliament who is on board that flight. Also, the number of hijackers is now confirmed for us. 2 hijackers on board, and the plane has been landed on Malta International Airport. Rachel also pointing out for us that since the plane has been landed on a part of the airport which is not used for flight operations, as a result, Malta has begun some of the flights have resumed at the Malta International Airport, so it isn't on a complete lockdown just yet, but the country has reacted in the strongest way possible by ensuring that military vehicles and personnel are on board, on ground there to deal with the hostage situation. It's a developing story, and we'll continue to track it here on WION. We're going to take a quick break right now, but tonight on Your World Tonight, we will focus on the economic blockade in the Indian state of Manipur and what the Indian government is doing to resolve the crisis. This and much more tonight at 8 p.m. Don't forget to tune in to WION.